This is the Jacob's Aquarium live webcast recorded September 13th, 2014, episode 6. Enjoy. Jacob's Aquarium is made possible by jacobsaquarium.com, none other than my own website. jacobsaquarium.com is a website where I sell aquatic plants. With over 100 varieties to choose from, you're bound to find the plant that suits your particular aquascape. Visit jacobsaquarium.com to place your order today. This is the Jacob's Aquarium Well, hey everybody, welcome to another live webcast here on Jacob's Aquarium. Glad to be here once again with you guys. I say it every time, but I'm serious. I love doing these webcasts. They are so much fun. Yeah, let's fade the music out now, shall we? Welcome everybody to another live webcast. I hope you guys are doing good out there. Hope your tanks are doing good as well. My tank is doing really well. Plants are growing extremely nicely. My headphone audio seems to be going down. Oh, there we go. Maybe if I turn it up, that would help. Maybe if I turn my audio up, that would help. Yes, like that. Oh boy. Technical stuff doing live stream is very, very frustrating sometimes. Trust me. Anyways, hope you guys are doing good. And let's get to the chat room, or let's try to open up the chat room. It's never an easy task for some reason on my computer, because my computer is, a dinosaur. Some exciting news for the channel and for my hair as well coming up in this first hour of the show. I saved my hair because I have this 70s like brushed over look, and I just think it's really time to go. I've just let my hair go way too long. So I will be making a trip to my local Fantastic Sam's later today to get that chopped off. Sometimes I just don't have time. I just don't have time to even get a haircut. It's one of those things where, it's just, it doesn't work out as far as, in my schedule. So, just nothing I can do. So I have to just either wear a hat most of the time and just go out like that. Can't do anything else. That's just what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just what it is. So let me try to open up the chat room on my iPhone here, because if I did that, my computer would have a nuclear meltdown. It just would not work out. And while I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and tell you guys about the exciting news that I wanted to share with you guys. Something really cool. I know you guys like these videos. You guys like to watch the aquarium store videos, so I know you guys are going to like this announcement. Okay, no. I forgot the date. Crap. I'll have to look at my Facebook page while I talk to you guys about this. But this September, or I think it's late September, early October, I'm going to be making a trip to Age of Aquariums in Long Beach, California, to film another store tour there. And Age of Aquariums is a really awesome shop. I've seen the store before on LA Fish Guy's YouTube channel. I'm sure you guys know who he is. He's a pretty popular YouTuber. And I really like the store. And it seems like, the videos that are on YouTube about it, don't really go into that great of detail about the store like I do, when I go to and do store tour videos. So I thought it'd be cool to do a video there and kind of show you guys around the store and, show you everything that they offer, the tanks that they have, the different fish that they stock. So we're going to be doing that. And that's all the way in Long Beach. So that's pretty far for me. So this video is going to be pretty costly for me. But I'm doing it nonetheless because I like to film things and make things that you guys like to watch. I really do. And as I said before, my YouTube channel is all for you guys. I really do not and have ever never planned on, making this all about me and profiting from things or anything. I've only always just done videos for you guys because I like showing people things that other people wouldn't even waste the time, filming or anything because they see it as such a, oh God, I don't want to do that. It seems like a lot of work. Um, so I, I like doing stuff like that. Some other, it looks like I have an afro. Oh my gosh. Now I feel even more embarrassed. Yeah. Yeah, see, Fish's Care in the chat room says, I looks like I have an afro. That makes me feel lovely. Thank you so much. I'm a white guy that has an afro. Isn't that lovely? Actually, there are white guys that have afros, aren't there? I think Richard Simmons has one. The guy that did those painting videos on PBS, Public Broadcasting System or whatever. He had an afro. I think his name was Bob Ross. It's kind of funny, that some white people have curly hair like that. That it grows in an afro. I think that's something you rarely see. Richard Simmons' hair though is like unbelievably afro-y. Even like back in the 80s, like I wasn't alive in the 80s, but I've seen videos from him in the 80s, and I mean he looks like a I don't know how to say this without, some type of race comment in here, but I mean he has like hair like a black guy would, it's just very weird, and he's white. So it was always funny just, seeing him with an afro. I mean, not that an afro was funny, but I'm just saying it was always funny seeing a white guy, at the time with this huge afro, But I mean, even still to this day, I mean, he's in his early 60s and he still has an afro. It's like, isn't it time to just cut that down and try to, form it into something, that looks a little bit better? I think he's a little old for afro still, I don't know. And then plus his hair is thinning too, so it even looks worse because now you can see his scalp and it's too much, way too much. By the way, I forgot my coffee mug here, so I'm not going to look professional today, like the people on those morning news shows with the coffee cups, and coffee's not really in them, it's just water, but they use the coffee cups to, look professional. I'm drinking out of a gallon jug again. Maybe I can get up and go get one. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to because this is kind of, yeah, it's a little too much. So, what can I do to... Well, it's just going to take me like 5 seconds to go get a cup, but okay, I guess you guys can wait. You can be patient, right? Right. Okay. See, now normally if I was on a real radio show, I would wait till we go to break to do something like that. But this isn't a real radio show, so I have no breaks. And I can't play music because the copyright thing on YouTube, unfortunately. There always has to be a copyright, right? Against everything. Always a copyright. It's like, I'm surprised that, they even allow you to say or, sing songs. It's like, God, you think they want to sue you for that too? Just for singing it. Some other really nice news. Last night I sold my iPhone 5S on eBay. Yeah, isn't that cool? It's something I do every single year to buy the new iPhone. And it's so surprising, and it's such an event, when it comes down to the last couple hours of the auction, because there's a lot of people that wait like till the very end to place their bids, so that they can be the one that wins the item, of course. So my iPhone was at $330 at I think it was 3 hours before the auction was going to end, and an hour went by, and I got a couple more bids. It went up to like 350. Another hour went by, and it went up to about 370, 380, and then the last hour was the most intense, and I didn't expect it to go past 400, but it did, and I'm glad it did because eBay fees are insanely ridiculous, and I wanted it to kind of go a little higher than usual as far as the price, so that those eBay fees can be covered, and I can still afford the new iPhone. So right at the last minute, it was one bid after the other. It was like seconds in between, and people were fighting over my phone. And it was just funny, seeing one bid come after another, and I get alerts on my phone, so it's like my phone's beeping off the hook. Do they still say off the hook? And the final winning bid was somebody that I hate when people do this to me, but hey, it's eBay. But this guy literally, he must have had the fastest hands ever in the world to place a bid with his computer, with his mouse and everything, because he placed a bid literally a second before the auction ended, and he was the one that won my iPhone. So it's pretty crazy, it's pretty crazy how fast some people can be right at the last minute for an auction. And, one thing aside from the eBay fees, I hate the eBay fees, but aside from that, I also don't like the fact that some people will bid on things on eBay and then not pay for them. I think last year when I was selling my iPhone 5, it went up to $475, which was crazy. And to me, that sounded that looked kind of like, okay, no one's going to pay that amount. This has got to be a fake bid or something. But yeah, the buyer never purchased or, sent the payment over PayPal, nothing. The address on his PayPal account did not match up. And, it was just incredibly frustrating because it was a 3-day auction. And I know that the iPhone is going to come out, a week from now, and I'm already 3 days into that week. I can't list the phone again because it's going to take too long for the auction to be over, then for me to transfer the money to my account so I can buy the new iPhone. It's so much hassle when people don't pay for stuff on eBay, especially when you're on a deadline. So thankfully this time though, the buyer actually paid for it, and the buyer actually paid for my iPhone an hour after they won the auction, which was very surprising because it was very late at night, and the person was in the United States on the East Coast also, so it was probably 2 or 3 in the morning where they were. So I was very glad that they paid for it because once they pay for it, I just feel like a weight is lifted off my chest, because now I know, okay, I have the money. It's going to be in my account, and I can get the new iPhone. All I have to do is ship the iPhone now. I'm done, But, there's so many things eBay can do to fix that, to prevent that from happening and to prevent that frustration. That's another thing I don't like about eBay is they put too much emphasis on giving the buyer all these rights, and not the seller. The seller or sellers on eBay seem to be the lowest form of anything. They have no rights. It seems like the buyer is always the one that is favored by eBay. And I say that because buyers can leave negative feedback, and sellers can't leave negative feedback even if the buyer deserves it. Buyers are not required to make an immediate payment if they win an auction. It has to be a buy it now ad if they to require immediate payment. So it's kind of stupid. I think immediate payment should be required no matter what. If you win the auction, it's automatically taken out of your bank account. You're done, There's no there's no sense in placing a bid if you don't plan to buy anything to begin with. So you're going to buy it if you place the bid. So what's the big deal if the money's automatically taken out? I don't know. So, I really, really do hate eBay. eBay is one of the sites that I just absolutely despise. But, it's the only site where people go to buy iPhones this time of the year, and, to pay top dollar for them, because if you try to sell it on Craigslist, somebody's going to try to swindle you down to $150, and there's no way in hell I'm selling an iPhone 5 for $150 when I paid $199 for it, and Plus, it still looks brand freaking new. No, thank you. No, sir. I will not do that. You know, I hate selling stuff on eBay. Most of all, I hate selling stuff on Craigslist because people are so cheap on Craigslist. They're such cheapskates. Cheapskates. They're such cheapskates. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, let's put the clock in the corner here. 1:17. We're already 17 minutes into the show. Wow. Okay. All right, enough of my blabbering on about things that I hate and things that I don't hate. Let's get to some questions in the chat box. Okay, so Demetrius Laz, hey, I remember you from yesterday. You were in the chat room. Says, hi again. Tell me something. In a Planet tank, is it good the sump or just external? Someone please tell me that isn't good. You lose CO2. Yes, if you have a sump filter, which, I mean, I know this from personal experience because I've had a sump filter on a Planet tank, you will absolutely 100% of the time deplete your CO2 levels. It's just not the ideal filter for a Planet tank. The main reason why your CO2 levels deplete so quickly if you use a sump with your Planet tank is because when the water rains over the bottle balls, for one thing, there's a lot of oxygen exchange, a lot of water movement, and the oxygen just totally, you know, that oxygen that's being exchanged in the water during all that movement just totally depletes your CO2 levels. That's why they say you don't want to have a lot of surface agitation in a Planet aquarium because, once again, that's considered oxygen exchange, and that could deplete your CO2 levels as well. Really, in a Planet tank, we want to rely on the plants to provide the oxygen for the fish and for the overall well-being of the tank. We don't want to rely on physically, or not physically, but not mechanically. We don't want to rely on other equipment, I guess I should say, to provide oxygen in a Planet tank, because we're injecting a gas that could be depleted very quickly with too much oxygen, you know, too much water movement. So the ideal filter for a Planet tank is a canister filter. It's a closed system, for one thing, which is very important. You absolutely will not deplete your CO2 levels. You could have, you know, a waterfall of movement inside of a canister filter, and it will not deplete your CO2 levels because it is a closed system. Any gas that escapes, you know, while water's tumbling around in a canister filter, gets injected right back into the water because there's nowhere else for it to go, unless your canister leaks, obviously, which that wouldn't be a good thing. And I would hope that you guys keep an eye on that. So ideally, the best filter for a Planet tank is a canister filter. So I would definitely recommend that. Do not get a sump. I mean, I had a sump, and I surprisingly, I grew, you know, as you can see from my previous videos, I grew a whole wall of Rotala. I grew a carpet of baby tears, but at the same time, I was injecting a ton of CO2. It was especially frustrating because I was using paintball tanks at the time, and I would run through 20-ounce paintball tanks literally, you know, once a week, and that's why I had 4 of them, so that I didn't have to go to the paintball shop so often. So those 4 tanks would last me a whole month, which was ridiculous. So you really have to just make sure your filtration system for your Planet tank is a closed system. I mean, pretty much only a canister filter, and you won't have to worry about your CO2 levels depleting. So definitely don't get a sump filter, for sure. Have I ever hatched brine shrimp? Absolutely not. Nope, I have not. A lot of people use brine shrimp for fry to feed their fish, their baby fish. And you can artificially hatch those. It is a really cost-effective way to feed baby fish. But when I had my baby fish, my little swordtails that I bred, it was amazing. But some of them grew up in the tank without even eating. I don't know if they did eat or not, but they would never come to the surface. They would always hide in the plants. So they probably fed off little bits of algae or, you know, little bits of leftover food. Maybe, I don't know. I never saw any of the food sink to the bottom. So I usually just have, in a Planet tank, that is, I've just relied on nature to take its course and for the babies to find the food naturally by, finding some little bits of algae or something. But yeah, I mean, once they got to a big enough size, they did go to the top and start eating like normal fish because they weren't that scared anymore. But yeah, surprisingly, some of my baby fish still grew up even without, or without me seeing them eat. I believe they just ate little leftover bits of stuff in the plants, which was pretty surprising because, algae does not, it doesn't really have a lot of nutritional properties, a lot of things that are very important for baby fish to grow. So it was kind of amazing that they still were able to get to a nice size. Swag Dog 00, Jacob, what are some beginner hardy plants that don't need substrate? Oh boy. Here's the thing, okay? All plants are going to need any type of plant, no matter if it's a beginner plant, the easiest plant in the world to grow, they're going to need planted tank substrate. You're going to need a substrate that contains some type of nutritional value for the plants. So many times I get this question too often. A lot of people ask me, can I just grow plants in straight gravel, without any nutrients, any substrate, any, planted tank substrate, just straight gravel? And the answer to that is no, you absolutely cannot. I mean, there are some plants like Anubias, Java fern that don't grow in the substrate, but they still kind of require, nutrients in the tank. And most of the time, planted tank substrate is the stuff that really, it doesn't really eject too much nutrients into your water column, but it does help in that sense. So you can definitely try growing plants like Anubias and Java fern. Fish's Care is recommending a moss ball. That's another one. It's not really an attractive plant. It's one of the more novelty plants, I guess you'd say. You can't really create a good aquascape with a moss ball just dangling around in there. But you can try that, but you would most certainly have to be injecting some type of nutrients, and you'd have to be using CO2 because, it's just not going to be enough with just the rocks and good lighting. You definitely would need some CO2 or at least some nutrients, dry nutrients or liquid nutrients. But I never recommend that people ever start a planted tank and say, oh, I just want beginner plants, I'm not going to use planted tank substrate. I never recommend that people do that for the simple reason of, if you ever wanted to grow a foreground plant, a carpeting plant, a more demanding plant that needs to be planted in substrate like most stem plants do, you can't. You really can't. So to give you more options later down the road, it's best just to use planted tank substrate, because you're most likely going to see a plant that you're like, wow, that looks so cool, I want to grow that. But knowing that you only have gravel in your tank, you can't do that. So, to give yourself some more options, and to just guarantee that if you wanted to later down the road, you can grow any plant that you'd want, because you have the planted tank substrate in there, without having to totally overhaul your tank and take everything out and put it, just use planted tank substrate. It makes things so much easier. Trust me. Okay, please do that. Demetrius Last says, I used something of Serena Gigante took over the tank. Well, see, Demetrius, if the sump is working for you, and if the plants are working with the sump, they're still growing, they're still staying alive, just, there's no reason really to change anything. I mean, if you have the money, I guess it's okay. But I mean, if you really don't and everything's still working with the sump, I mean, I would just stay with the sump filter. Because like I said, I was able to grow, you know, I was able to grow plants with my sump filter, and I just had to inject a lot of CO2. So I mean, it's possible. It's just, I guess if you grow easier or be, really easy plants, it wouldn't be a big deal. But if it's working, I mean, you don't have to take it out. What do I feed my fish? Everybody always wants to know that for some reason. I don't know. I feed my fish Tetra Color. It's really nothing special. I mean, it's just tropical fish flakes. I've been I've been using this stuff and feeding my fish this stuff probably since Tetra Color was a new food that came out, I believe, in 2005 or 2004, around there. But before that, it was just Tetra Tropical Flakes, I think. I think it was a green bottle. But I've been feeding my fish Tetra Flakes like, oh my God, since I was like maybe 11 or 12 years old, a long time. This food is pretty good. I mean, my fish like it. And they grow very nicely with it as well. Their color looks great. So I'm not saying it's the best food on the market, but it's the one I've been using forever, and my fish like it. I mean, I can pick up the can and put it up to the tank. You can probably see behind me the fish are already trying, starting to move a little bit frantically. But if I put this up to the tank, they'll all go to the top because they know I'm going to feed them. So just the can alone is attractive to your fish. Watch, I'll show you. Look, there they come. You can see all the neon tetras, all the zebra Daniel minnows. And if I hover it over, they're like, they're going to get mad at me. They're like, why are you teasing us, Dad? Don't do that. You know I'm hungry. I just fed them like literally an hour ago. And Dakian, I don't mean to spam, but I haven't received an answer. Do you announce your streams ahead of time? I like to interact instead of watching pre-recordings. Well, this isn't a pre-recorded version. This is live right now. If you're in the chat room right now, this is live. I mean, this is not a pre-recorded version. If you're watching the pre-recorded version, it won't look like this. First of all, you won't have a chat box next to the live stream. It will basically just be the video, like a normal YouTube video. But right now we are live. So, and yes, I do have I think Matthew Coughing is already responding to, but on the front page of my YouTube channel, I do have a banner that says the time and days that I'm live. So, you know exactly when I'm live. Pretty straightforward. I try to be on time, but sometimes, I have some technical things to work out. So, you have to give me a minute. But thankfully, I mean, I'm being on time lately. I mean, I've always, started to go live right at 1 o'clock. So, knock on wood. Do I have some wood here? I don't have any wood. Okay, I'll knock on the wall. There you go. Hopefully there's some wood behind there or something. Hopefully. By the way, guys, if you would like to talk to me on Skype, if you would like to make an audio only Skype call, no video because my computer cannot handle it, you can talk to me on Skype. It's almost like calling in. If you're not calling the number, you're talking to me Skype. My name is Jacob Aquarium. If you guys would like to call right now. And also for those for Twitter as your main source of asking me questions and communicating with me, you can ask me questions right now on Twitter at Jacob's Aquarium, and I will answer your questions live. We're not on the air, but live on the internet. Okay. So I thought I would share that with you guys so you know where you can reach me. Of course, it's live. I just so happened to randomly stumble on a live stream. Okay, that's cool. Welcome to the chat room, or welcome to the live stream. Oh, my stand is wood. Trey Laner, you're right. Okay, let me knock on my stand. There we go. Knock on wood right there. Nice CTFXC poster. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I actually talked about that yesterday. It's signed by Allie and then by Charles as well. It's a signed poster, so pretty cool. It's just sad that they're divorced. They were such a great couple. We're not going to talk about that. No, Jacob is sitting there drinking out of a cup with water, pretending it's coffee. Well, I said that in the beginning of the show. Remember I said that people do that on TV shows to look fancy, because if they were just sitting there with a cup of water, it kind of looks a little, if you put it in a coffee cup, it looks like it's like a professional morning show. Like, hi, I'm Jacob Castro. Welcome to Good Morning America. It looks more professional, Fishes care. There is lag. Uh-oh. We got lag. Ladies and gentlemen, we got lag. Oh, no. Okay, well, everything is fine on my end. I don't have any issues. So it's probably your PC. If it's not your PC, then it's something I'm doing that I have to address. Let me see here. Let me check the stream. Yes, iPhone, I want to open that in YouTube. Come on. If you put it in a coffee cup, it looks like everything is fine on my end. I don't know what you're saying. Yeah. Fish's care. I think that was lag on your end, not mine. Josh's Fish Room. Hi, dudes. Hi, man. How you doing? What's up? I just like to randomly make noises. Sorry. It's just my thing. The fuck? Oh, sorry. I cussed. Oh my god. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. This freaking thing got hot. Like, burned my lips. I apologize for saying that cuss word. Sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it, please. Don't take any offense to it, please. I didn't mean it. Another exciting thing I should tell you guys. Trey Laner, haven't seen your other tank in... Oh, well... okay. For those of you guys that don't know, which I've probably talked about this before in other live streams. Oh my god, really? There was a lag just when I put up the Twitter and Skype stuff. Wow. My computer just can't handle anything, can it? Anyways, so my 50-gallon tall doesn't really exist anymore. I had to, really make a decision of which tank I wanted to have ultimately for the time being, because when I first started my plant business, it cost me a lot of money. The website, all the licensing that I had to do through my city, it cost me not hundreds of thousands, but it cost me a little over $1,000 some odd dollars just to start this whole business. So I had absolutely no money to buy another filter, to buy some more lighting, to buy more substrate, all the stuff that I would need to set up another tank and still have my old 50-gallon. So I really had to make a decision of which one I wanted. And the 80-gallon just seemed more worth it, in my opinion, because, first of all, it's bigger. And, doing this whole plant thing, I need space, to hold plants. So it just made more sense. But I still have my 50-gallon. I still have it, and I will probably set it up in the future, but I'm still trying to, I'm still trying to, put some money aside to set all these things up, because it's very costly. So, but I'm doing my best, and to set up another tank. I know you guys like to watch tank setups and stuff. I'm doing my best, and I will definitely be doing that in the future, the very near future, by the way. But yeah, my 50 gallon. The reason why you haven't seen it is because it is no more. Everything is gone. What I did was I ripped out all the Rotala, I ripped out all the pearl weed, and I put it all in my 80 gallon. So, and that's where it's been. And thankfully, because if I didn't have such a high turnover rate, that being, plants coming in and then plants going back out, I would probably not even be able to fit all the plants in my 50 gallon, because every week there's upwards of, oh my God, probably 120 different species of plants going into my tank and then going back out. Most of the plants that I sell only spend probably like 3 or 4 days in my tank before they're finally, they're sold and they have to be shipped out. So thankfully I have a high turnover rate. If I didn't, the 80 gallon wouldn't even cut it. So you could just imagine what it would be like if I only had a 50 gallon to store plants. So the 80 gallon was just a must. It was just an absolute must, and the only thing that would work, so. What did I do with my baby tears? Well, the thing with the baby tears was, actually they actually started to die off. This was when I was making the transition from my T5 lighting to my new LEDs. I ordered my LED fixtures, and they were supposed to arrive, I believe in like a week or so. But something happened. There was a delay, and I got them actually a month later from when I ordered them. But during that time, my T5 lighting, my T5 bulbs were already dimmed out. They were already, they already lost all their, how can I say this? So, T5 bulbs are supposed to be replaced every 6 months. If you don't, they really start to dim out, and they lose their power. They lose their ability to really grow plants that well. So mine were pretty dimmed out already, and since that large delay with receiving my LED lighting, and combined with the fact that I didn't have any money to go out and buy all these new T5 bulbs, and I saw no point in that, considering I was going to get my new LED fixtures pretty soon, I just let my tank go. And I just hoped for the best, and the light was just simply not enough for the baby tears, and they just decided. They just decided. No, they just started to die off. They turned this very whitish, brownish color, and they just started to fall apart. So I just eventually ripped them all out. And once I got my LED lighting, I put some bundles of pearl weed in there, and the pearl weed took over, and everything's been fine since then. But if it wasn't for the baby tears dying out, I would probably still have that entire carpet, and that carpet would probably be in my 80 gallon. But, things happen. I mean, I get baby tears all the time. I mean, of course, I sell them on my website, so I could, keep one and try to grow it in my tank. But once again, I don't have the room. This tank is already stocked to the max practically. I'm hoping to actually set up another 80 gallon so that I can have some more room. Because, I mean, with the aquatic plant business, you just need so much space. It's just so hard to do things with such limited space. So. God. Trey, you sold the T5s that I shipped you? Oh my God. So I sold them to you for you to sell to somebody else. How much did you sell them? Did you sell them to somebody else for more than what you bought them from me? Because if you did, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, did you sell for more? I'm curious. I'll wait for your response in the chat room since there's a delay. Fraser Mitchell, all your vids are awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Dakin is a new NFC feature called Apple Pay or Pay Apple. They must be making a killing from the retailers. Well, the NFC, near field communication, has its own name in its own right, but Apple Pay is Apple Pay is called Apple Pay. It's not called iPay or Pay Apple. It's called Apple Pay. And yeah, they pretty much are going to make a killing from the retailers. I'm not sure if Apple's getting a percentage of every sale that gets or every transaction that goes through Apple Pay. I'm not sure if it's going to be like PayPal where they take 30 cents and then 2.9% of the entire transaction. If they do, which I doubt they'll do that because then people won't want to use it, they could make a killing. But what they probably did was they're not going to do that. They're not going to charge a royalty, I guess you could say, on every transaction. And instead, they are going to just make a deal with the banks to get a little sum of every transaction. So they get some payback for that. Because I couldn't see Apple well, they're offering Apple Pay to us for free, but I couldn't see them not making at least something back from that with the all the retailers and all the credit card companies. So, I mean, they possibly could make a killing once it does start, or once people really start to use Apple Pay on their new iPhones. I know I'll definitely be using it because I hate using my debit card. It's very frustrating because not only do you have to get out of your wallet, swipe it. Sometimes it doesn't work, so you have to swipe it again. Sometimes you press the wrong key on the keypad, so you have to do the whole thing all over again. Then they want to see your ID to confirm everything. I mean, it's just such a long process. And, while some people may say, oh, well, you're just exaggerating, it's not that long of a process, it's not that big of a deal. It is just so much easier to pull out your phone, wave it over a sensor, and you're done. I mean, you really have to admit that. I mean, you could say it's just not a big deal to use a normal, regular credit card, but I mean, it is much faster and much more easier just to wave your phone over a sensor. I mean, the only action you have to do is taking the phone out of your pocket, or if you're a woman, your purse, which that doesn't take a lot of effort. It sure as hell is easier than what I just explained, swiping and keypad, ID, and oh my God, forever and ever and ever. So I'm really excited to use it. I can't wait to get it. I'm such an Apple nerd. I just every time Apple has a new product, I get so excited. Sometimes I can't sleep. Okay, let's get back to some questions here. Let's scroll up so I can't see that. And Dakian, I want to buy a hydro canister because it's cost effective, but I'm afraid I can't find replacement parts for it. Whereas with Fluval, replacement parts are abundant. You're absolutely right, actually. That was one of the things I took into consideration when I bought my hydro canister filter, because still to this day, I really haven't found a website that sells replacement parts. I mean, I could do some really deep searching on the internet and probably I could find it, but I don't know. It's just, it doesn't seem like there are too many places that sell replacement parts, or there's nothing at all. You have to call the company maybe. That's one thing that I'm pretty kind of scared about, because if one day I'm cleaning out the motor housing and I accidentally break the ceramic shaft, I mean, it's like, what am I going to do? It's going to be hard to find a replacement part. So that's definitely a concern. But here's what I'll do. Okay. Why don't you email me, jacobsaquarium@gmail.com. I will do some deep searching. That sounds kind of wrong. I will do some searching on the internet, and if I find a website that sells replacement parts for the hydro canister filter, since it's important. I mean, the subject is important to me too. So, I will send you over the link to the website so that you know exactly where to go if you need replacement parts. Okay, so just send me an email. Fraser Mitchell, have you ever thought about setting up a? Oh, my dad's home. Hey, Dad. Have have ever thought about setting up a marine tank? I have thought about it. It's just it's very costly. Saltwater tank, it's much different than freshwater. I mean, not only do you need, a good filter, good lighting, to grow corals and stuff. You need a protein skimmer. If you live in an area where you have a lot of temperature fluctuation, you need a chiller. I don't know. It's just too expensive in my opinion. I just love the simplicity of freshwater and a freshwater planet tank. And I know that, some people like saltwater tanks because it's so natural in their opinion. It's like having a piece of the ocean in their home. But in my opinion, a planet tank seems a lot more natural because it's almost like having a pond, a lake, a river in your home, and you can see underwater. To me, that's more natural than the ocean. The ocean to me would be something that's natural, of course, but not natural as in like wilderness, nature, natural, if you know what I mean. So I would love to set up a marine tank. It's just the cost is the only factor here that's keeping me away from a marine tank. And then also, I just simply love planet tanks. I've always had planet tanks since I was a kid. So I've just developed a really deep passion for them, and it would be hard for me to transition over to saltwater and still have that same passion for it. But who knows? If things continue to go like they're going, and things still continue to go well, I'll definitely be able to afford a saltwater tank, and maybe I'll set one up just as a little treat for you guys. No. Fish tank army. I had a 14-gallon saltwater setup that cost me more to keep than my current 80-gallon planet tank. Well, that's absolutely true. That's what I'm saying. And even still, too, like a 14-gallon tank for saltwater is definitely not recommended by the experts. Everybody almost says, you have to have at least over 100-gallon saltwater tank in order for it to, continue to be successful. Because they say that in such a small system, the turnover rate when you do water changes of, good things going in, bad things going out, it's just too much of a drastic change. And you can never maintain your salinity or, all this other, all your levels, basically. They say it's very hard. Most of the experts that I've talked to always recommend over 100 gallons. So that's another thing you have to consider is you have to really get a big tank for a saltwater system. And if you don't, you might have a lot of problems. So I don't know. It could work with a small tank. I just don't know. I'm just not an expert with saltwater, and I just know what the experts have told me and what I've heard and what I've read and stuff. So what made me give up goldfish? Well, I didn't really want to give them up. I really wanted to keep them. I really, really did, because they were like really like dogs to me. Like, they weren't just fish. They were like a tangible pet, but I couldn't have two tanks. And at the time I didn't even have two tanks that were big enough to house them. So I had to really make a decision. Do I want to continue to keep goldfish and just make goldfish videos that I know some people like to watch, but not a lot of people like to watch? Or do I want to set up a planet tank or go back to planet tanks that I know a lot of people like to watch videos on that and set up videos and stuff, and continue with that? Like, what do I do? Because I know if I stuck with goldfish, I would not have the audience that I have now, because goldfish are fun, they're interesting, but there's only so many videos you can make about them, and there's only so many things you can talk about, with a goldfish tank. It's just not the most, it's not the most entertaining thing. But not only was it that made me give them up, it was just the fact that they were very, very messy. They were very, very messy, and I had a sump filter with my goldfish tank, and I was spraying out my socks like once every 2 or 3 days. It was just a lot of work to keep them. And the tank always smelled really bad because no matter how much I cleaned it, I mean, a day later, it would just go back to smelling really bad. So, goldfish are for, really special people that can put up with all the extra care, all the extra maintenance. And most of all, just the very mundane, simple look that you have to have in a goldfish tank. For me, it just was not for me, So I just had to give them up. I had to get rid of them and give them a new home. So, did you give your goldfish? What? Do you mean, did I give my goldfish away? What I actually did was I went to a store actually that I made a video at. It's called The Reef in Reef Tropical Fish in Anaheim, California. I went to that store, and that's where I gave the goldfish away. I don't know if they're still there. They could be, or somebody could have already bought them, but I figured that was the best place for them because, the owner, I know him personally. Of course, we made the video together, and I know he has a lot of experience with goldfish, or fish in general. So I know that they would be happy there. And his tanks are always, beautifully clean. Water parameters are always in check. So I know that it was a good store to give them away to. So I haven't been actually back to Reef Tropical Fish in Anaheim for a long time. So I don't know if they're still there. It would be actually really cool to go there and then still be there to see how big they are now, because when I got them, they were already pretty big and they still had a long time to grow. So I mean, man, they're probably much bigger now. Whoever owns them, or if they're still there. So, Diego Henriquez, what's my name? My name is Jacob Castro. That's my name. I must say it like a million times in my videos. Do I recommend any good books for Planet Aquariums? Not really. I don't think the best way to learn about a Planet Aquarium is out of a book. I think the best way to learn about Planet Aquariums is by talking to people and experiencing things for yourself. I think it's always good, even though people see it as something like, this doesn't make sense to do it like this, but in my opinion, it's a good thing to set up a tank, make some mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and continue to move forward. I really don't think that reading your information out of a book is going to it's going to be able to teach you the things that you really need to know, because in this hobby, it all comes with experience. It all really does come down to the things that you have to battle, the things you have to fix, and learning how to fix them. It just comes down to actually going through all these issues and maintaining a planet tank. It's just you have to learn pretty much hands-on. It's really difficult for a book to teach you all the things you could learn if you did do it hands-on. So there's really no books that I recommend that are good for planet tanks. I've never read a planet tank book. I did, however, when I was a kid, which this was the only way that I got into planet tanks, was I saw planet tanks in a fish magazine, but I didn't have the magazine to learn about planet tanks. It's just I saw it, and then that's when I got it. But I learned most of the things that I know now about planet tanks from actually going through those issues and experiencing them firsthand. So not really a lot of books that I recommend. Is there any website you'd recommend for buying fish? Oh, well, actually, that brings me to my next... I was actually going to talk about this a little while ago, but we got sidetracked. Another really cool announcement that I have for you guys is, as I've told you before, coming this early October, this live show is really going to be, kind of revamped, I guess you could say. We're going to have a much better streaming computer for this live show, so that we can have some more guests on the show and use the software and stuff that we need to make a nice little professional show for you guys. I mean, as you can see, just when I put up my Twitter and website, lower thirds, there was lag on the stream. So with this new computer, it definitely won't happen. But early October, we're going to set up our new streaming system, and then we're going to have some guests on the show, some famous YouTubers that you guys probably have been watching on YouTube for quite a while. The first guest that we most likely will have is John from KGT Tropicals. And for the person that asked, what's a good website for buying fish, I'd recommend his website. I'm not sure if it's kgttropicals.com or not, but I would recommend his website because, he seems like a great guy, has a lot of experience. And for one thing, he's a YouTuber, and being able to interact and ask questions directly to the person that takes care of the fish and sells them is a great thing. It's much better than buying fish from like Live Aquaria or like a big company where you have no idea where these fish are in their warehouse, who's maintaining them. It's not the best place. So Catfish Cave, please do not advertise in my chat room. You do not need to tell people to check out anybody's channel at all. Don't do that, especially Solid Gold. She was incredibly mean to me. That girl from that channel. She left a lot of really rude comments on my channel. Do not advertise in my chat room, or I will kick you out. I'll block you right now if you do it again. It really pisses me off when people do that. Out of all the people that you could advertise a channel for, it has to be that one, right? The one that's been the most rude to me. For no absolute reason, by the way. Don't do it again. So anyways, like I was saying, KGT Tropicals is the website I would recommend for if you're looking for a good website to buy fish. Because as I was saying, he's a YouTuber and you can interact with him, and it's much better than buying them from a big company where you have no idea where the fish are and who's handling them, the quality, and things like that. So I believe it's kgttropicals.com. Kareen Patel says she's off YouTube. Well, maybe she's off YouTube because she treated so many people like shit and nobody wanted to put up with it. Maybe that's why. Fishes Care, what did she say? I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to relive the whole situation. Whatever she said, it was pretty rude. I'll just say that. And it was unnecessary. And once again, as I've said before, there's no reason for hostility in the aquarium community on YouTube. And for some people, that's just unavoidable. They have this hostility against other people. And like I said, I don't know if it's a competition thing. I don't know if it's oh, you have more subscribers than me, so I'm not gonna like you, or I just don't know. But she had some hostility towards me for some unknown reasons, and she decided to take it out on me by posting rude comments on my videos. Rude comments in the fact of making fun of me, for one thing, and telling me I was absolutely wrong in every single video that I made. So, yeah. Just, don't advertise channels on my channel. Because you just don't know. You just don't know if there's somebody that I have absolutely no respect for and have absolutely no I can't think of a word. See, this is how I get when I get frustrated. I can't talk right. Just don't do it, okay? Just don't advertise in my chat room. And I'm not going to talk about what she said to me. It's just whatever she did, it was rude and unnecessary. Plain and simple. Joshua Gohing, Jacob, which do you prefer, a big tank with a small filter or a small tank with a big filter? You know, filtration really doesn't depend on the size of your tank. It depends on more what you're stocking in your tank. If you have a small tank that's overstocked with a lot of fish, you definitely want a big filter, you know. In general, though, I try to, whenever I set up a tank, I try to get a filter that's rated a little bit more than rated for a little bit more than the size of my tank. So say if the filter is rated for a 60 gallon, I'll get, we'll say I have a 60 gallon. I'll get a filter that's rated for an 80 gallon. So I like bigger filters on my aquariums, just because I think the extra, added filtration is just better. And especially it gives me flexibility, because if later down the road I want to expand or I want to add some more fish, I can definitely do that. So Matthew coughing, there's no reason for that stuff. She said this hobby is supposed to be fun and friendly. Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's all I want for my YouTube channel. I want my YouTube channel to be a fun, friendly environment where people can come to watch my videos, be entertained, and go off and watch somebody else's videos. That's all I want to do here. But just like I said, for some reason, some people just have this hostility about them that they cannot stand it when there's somebody that's more popular than them or has more views than them or whatever. They just can't stand it, and they have to be so negative, on your videos. And unfortunately, that's just something you have to put up with being a YouTuber. But as for me, there's so many people. Look, I just did a show with Joey, the king of DIY. He has almost 100,000 subscribers. There's no reason for him to be on my show to advertise his channel, because he has plenty of subscribers. But I still had him on the show because this is a fun, friendly environment. I don't care that he's more popular than me. I'm not hostile about it. And he's my friend, he is my friend. And I wish I could be friends with everybody on YouTube, but for some reason, there's so many people are just so hostile. But thankfully, Joey, now that I've talked to John from KGG Tropicals, thankfully, those are two people that are, that I know for sure are friendly people on YouTube, because gosh, I must have said it 100 times, but there are so many people so hostile for some reason, and it's so weird. It's so weird to not like somebody just because of their YouTube channel. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, and I never will. But that's one thing you can always be rest assured, that I'm a fun, friendly person. I don't care about anybody else that has more subscribers than me. I applaud them. I congratulate them, for being successful, for all the success that they get. And I'm happy for them. And I hope that in return, people are happy for me for the success that I have. It just should go both ways, But, sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, okay. Done talking about that. No more drama bull crap, okay? Let's just let's go back into exciting, fun aquarium talk. But first, let me adjust the settings on my camera, because the sun is once again getting to this area, and it is getting far too bright in here. So, Logitech webcam controller. We want to turn down the exposure. Let's see, put it down a couple stops. Oh, that's too dark. Let's turn down the gain then. And no, that's too dark now. Okay. Ooh, perfect. Perfecto. That looks good. Okay. Sorry, guys. I've just been going around all your comments right now. I'm so sorry. I just went off. I just went off into a corn maze for a little bit. Um, Josh Guerra says, "Hey Jacob, what was your coolest fish you have ever owned? Also, who cares? People are mean to you. You are the best person. You are cool." Well, thank you, Jose. I really appreciate that. The best fish that I've ever owned. That's really hard to say because there are so many great fish that I've owned. But I will say the best one probably would be my tiger Oscar. I had a tiger Oscar back when I was 15 or 16, and that fish outgrew the little 30-gallon tank that I had him in very, very quickly. When I bought him from PetSmart, and he was originally like this big. He was just a baby, and I raised him. I grew him up for probably a year and a half, and he just got so big. I had to give him away because I just felt so bad keeping such a large fish in such a small tank. So I really miss him. I hope he's still alive. I hope the person took good care of him. The guy that I gave him to. But that was the best fish I ever owned. That my tiger Oscar was, pretty much just like my goldfish, was pretty much like a dog. I mean, he was such an interacting fish. He would go up to the glass when you go up to feed him. I could hand feed him. I could literally pet this fish, and he would not move. He would just like float there in the water, like he was enjoying it. It's just an incredible experience. That was definitely the best fish I ever owned. Was my tiger Oscar, for sure, number one. Victor Ray, have you ever had Salvina minima or Nathan's in your tank? If so, can you talk about it? Nope, never had those before. Jacob, what do you do for a living right now? Well, I do YouTube and my website. That's what I do. Why do Grammys eat my plants? Well, Grammys aren't really that nippy. Some of them are, though. The ones that I've owned, like the red dwarf fire Grammys, I believe they're called. They were kind of nippy. In general, the best fish in a plant tank are just really small ones because they tend not to bother the plants. So, fish tank army, I'm waiting for Oh, no. See, fish tank army. See, the problem is that I'm perfectly fine with people advertising, channels in my chat room, as long as it's somebody that, that first of all, that's not hostile towards me. The Rick and I are very good friends. We did a video together. He actually interviewed me, and we did a video together a while ago. He's a great guy. He makes really cool videos, by the way. So you guys should actually check him out. His channel is called the Rick 2325. But Fish Tank Army, don't worry. That's perfectly fine. See, that's just the hard part. It's just, I mean, it'd be fine to advertise in the chat room, but it's just hard, trying to figure out which channels are okay, which channels aren't. Because a majority of the channels I'm friendly with, they're friendly with me, I should say. But there are some out there, some bad eggs, So, but no, that's perfectly fine. The Rick 2325, everybody, really good channel. Check him out. Kareem Patel, my auntie treated the koi like, no, oh, okay. That was just a comment. That's cool. I love Tiger Oscars, but that is sad that you had to leave him. Yeah, it really was. I was only 15 at the time, and I had no job. I was a student. That was my job. So I had no money to buy a bigger tank, and I just felt bad, seeing this fish that was 8-9 inches long in a small 30-gallon tank. So the guy I gave him away to, he had a huge, oh my God, he sent me pictures of it, a huge 500-gallon tropical fish tank that took up like his whole office, and he said he was going to put him in there. So hopefully he still has them. And that fish is probably huge by now. He's probably over a foot long. it'd actually be really cool to see him, revisit him, but I have no idea where he is now, unfortunately. But yes, I was very sad when I had to give him away, and that was actually probably one of the first times that I actually felt a lot of emotion in this hobby. Because that fish was like a very close pet to me. So, life goes on. 17 Marilla, have I ever been to Europe? Nope, never have. Always wanted to go, though. What is my opinion on floating plants? Are they beneficial? I don't like floating plants because they tend to block out a lot of light from light penetration, and light is very important in a planted tank. So plants like duckweed and things like that, not the best to put in a planted tank, because that's just gonna cloud your tank. It's gonna make it so that the light does not can't penetrate that well, and you're probably gonna start having some issues with your plants, stunted growth and things like that. So I don't really like floating plants. I think that if you are gonna have a tank with floating plants, you just strictly stick with floating plants and not any type of, you could get a ground cover plant that's hardy, I guess you'd say, that doesn't require a lot of light and should still work well. But in my opinion, I don't really like floating plants, and not too many that I know of to recommend. Josh Gohing, check out Jacob's Aquarium. Yes, check me out. Yeah. Am I still using the Mix Max reactor? Yes, I am. Pros and cons. It's cheap. It's made out of cheap brittle plastic, so I'm always worried that I'm gonna bump it somehow and break it. It's incredibly hard to clean because you can't really take the insides out and scrub it down. So it's actually full with a bunch of gunk that I need to clean out, but I haven't because it's so hard to do that. And disassemble my whole filtration system. In my opinion, I'd recommend just making your own reactor. The same construction, or the same type of the same construction, like built the same way as the Mix Max reactor or the Max Mix reactor. Or buying one that's made out of a more, better material, not plastic, because this one was just made very, very cheaply, and it could break really easily. So it's not really the best reactor, put it that way. Jacob, is a moss ball any good? I personally can't say. I've never owned a moss ball before. I never owned them basically just because in my opinion, they're not the most attractive plant. And it's really hard to make them work in a planted tank. There are some people that have done some really cool things or really cool aquascapes with them, but as for me, I don't know if I can make them work. So I've never owned them, so I can't really say if they're good or not. Sorry. Floating plants, especially duckweed, are great for excess nutrient absorption. Yeah, they are. That's definitely true. Mainly because they grow so rapidly, and they cover the whole top of the tank so quickly. But you could pretty much achieve the same results by just heavily stocking your aquarium with plants. I know that heavily stocking your aquarium with plants and then having the duckweed on top would be great for excess nutrient absorption. But at the same time, it's hard to grow the plants below that because the light's not getting through. So it's pretty much like a catch-22, So the best thing to do is just stock your whole tank with plants. If you can start out like that, if you can just buy a ton of plants and stock your whole tank up, and start a tank like that, that's the best way to do it, because you most likely won't have any algae problems because all the plants absorbing all that excess nutrients. Oh, ouch! You tried to attach a piece of silicone tubing to your CO2 diffuser, and the glass broke, and now you have an inch deep cut in your hand. Oh, that hurts. I'm sorry. I am sorry about that. I actually knew a guy a while ago. He bought one of those lily pipes, kind of like the ADA intake and outtake pipes. And I remember he told me he was trying to squeeze some tubing onto it, And you know the lily pipes are glass. Excuse me. And he squeezed it just a little too tight, and it broke in his hand. And he said that he had a cut all along the top of his hand. It was pretty bad. So I don't know, something about glass aquarium products scares me because it is very easy to break, because sometimes you have to apply a lot of force to them to make them work with whatever you're doing. So what do you think about using UV 24/7? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just your bulbs will run out or start to dim out faster. If you run a UV sterilizer 24/7, you almost you almost have to entirely replace the bulbs once every 4 to 5 months, I would say, just because they're on for so long. If you have it on the timer and the UV sterilizer is only on, like, for example, when your lights are on, then you could preserve your bulbs for a lot longer. But what I usually recommend people do is, in the beginning, when you start a tank and the tank's a little cloudy, you have excess nutrients and a lot of algae growth, that you leave your UV sterilizer on 24/7. Once the tank clears up, however, and the water's nice and clear, you minimal nutrients, minimal algae, then you could put your UV sterilizer on a timer, because it doesn't really need to be on all day. So that's what I recommend to people all the time. But permanently using a UV sterilizer 24/7 is not necessary. It's really not. Any luck getting a distributor for Cerulean Stone? Not yet. I'm still trying. Fish Tank Army, my cut is between my fingers, but the worst part is that I have to buy a new diffuser. So it's not the worst part that you actually got cut. Then you're just worried about buying another diffuser. I don't know. That's funny. Well, I hope it heals quite quickly, because I know that must be hard to do maintenance on your aquarium with a cut in your hand as well. I'm super excited, guys, about the new iPhone. Oh my gosh, we're how many days away to date today? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days away from the new iPhone. Oh my god. So excited. Trey Laner, where do you position your intake and outtake for your filter? Well, the ideal place to put your intake and outtake is to actually put them close together like this, and then put them on the side of your tank, so all the water is blowing this way and you have this constant circulation of water. That's the ideal place to put it, but since I have a canopy on my tank, I really can't do that. So my intake and outtake are on the back wall of my aquarium, and what I've done is I pointed my outtake horizontally to the back wall, so water goes in a circular motion like this. So I mean, you can pretty much achieve the same results no matter where it's positioned, but the ideal place is to have it on the side of your tank, the side wall, and all the water blowing across the tank like that. So Dimitri him does Jacob, when you going to Tropical Fish Store again? We're going to Age of Aquariums in Long Beach, California, early October. So you can look forward to that video. Actually, no, it's not early October. I think it's actually late September. Yeah, I think it's going to be September 20th is when we're going there. I have it posted on my Facebook page, facebook.com/JacobsAquarium, if you want to check out the exact date. But we are going to Age of Aquariums in Long Beach, California to make another fish store video. So that's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to do that, because it seems like a really nice store. Jacob, have you heard about the Apple Watch? Yes, I have, and I will be buying it when it comes out in February. February. So excited! I can't wait. I'm such an Apple nerd. When new stuff comes out from Apple, I get so like, I don't know, I get so excited like a little, teenage girl that's got a new Barbie or something. Do I recommend a diatone filter for brown algae? Hey, I recommend whatever works to combat algae. Whatever works, whatever has worked for you, I recommend. Um, in my opinion, to combat algae, all I do is I make sure all my levels are in check, and I stock my tanks heavily with plants. I think the last time I had a really bad algae bloom was 2010 or 2011, but I mean, ever since then, I haven't had any algae problems ever. I don't know. I guess it's just because everything just sets up perfectly. But whatever works. I mean, if people say a diatone filter works, do it. Definitely. Jacob, can you ever do an unpacking video? What do you mean by unpacking? Oh, you mean like from my plants? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure if you're referring to that. But if you are, I can do that. Can I use the paintball CO2 bottles for my CO2 system? Yeah, you can. I actually have I have it right here. I have it right here. Let's move my water over here. I have actually the I have actually the Aquatech paintball CO2 regulator right here. This one's actually pretty cool because you don't need an adapter to use with this tank, so you just screw it on. Here, I'll screw it off for you guys. I can show you, give you guys a close-up in the camera. This regulator right here, you can buy and use with a 20-ounce paintball tank. And like I said, there's no need for an adapter. Just, of course, make sure your O-ring is still good. But this one is a really nice regulator. It works very well. The gauges are pretty nice. The needle valve is spot on. You can adjust it very nicely. It has a solenoid, of course, so you can put it on a timer. And like I said, the best part about it is there's no need for an adapter. You just screw it right on, just like that. See, just like that. And then you're done. Pretty simple, huh? So yeah, you can definitely use a CO2 bottle with your CO2 system. You just have to have a regulator that works with it. If you have a CGA 320 regulator, the normal industrial standard regulator, you can buy an adapter. But I mean, if you don't like having to use an adapter and all this extra stuff, you can just use a regulator that fits right onto the paintball tank, which the Aquatech is pretty nice. The Skype line is open, guys. If you would like to call me on Skype, let's see. Must be an audio call. All you need is an ASA adapter, needle valve, and CO2 solenoid for a total of $30. Okay. Well, it's whatever you guys can afford. That's always what I recommend. Whatever you guys can afford, whatever works for you guys. But I mean, I just think that the Aquatech paintball regulator just makes so much sense. It's so much easier. It's an all-in-one unit, pretty much. It's expensive, I mean, I guess, but it works. It's a nice regulator. No. And Dakin, he says, I own that exact same regulator from Aquatech, works as advertised. Do you know if there's an adapter that will convert it from a paintball back to a regular industrial cylinder? You don't want to do that. That little paintball regulator will not be able to handle the pressure coming out of a normal industrial tank. It will most likely blow the regulator out. So you don't want to do that. No, you don't want to do that. Joshua Gohing, Jacob, are corridors good for a Planet tank? I can't say because I never owned them, but I see that sleight of hand, as his username says they are. So yeah, I guess they are. Siamese algae eaters I have owned, and yes, they are, in my opinion, the best algae eater. Whenever I've had brown algae in my aquariums, they've absolutely annihilated it in a matter of weeks. And they eat so much algae that I don't even have to feed them. I think when I had a big algae bloom, I just threw five of them in my tank, and that's all they survived on for upwards of 6 months, was just straight algae. And I knew they were surviving and they weren't suffering, because they weren't eating regular food, because they were growing and they were always fat. But, their stomachs were huge, so they were eating a lot of algae. Yeah, but they are pretty active, and they're not the best algae eaters to have in a tank where you say you have pretty delicate plants like Rotala wallichi, dwarf baby tears. Say you have delicate plants like that, they're not the best fish to have with plants like that because they will absolutely destroy them. So that's the only downside, and I think they're more suited for tanks, large scale Planet tanks, like with big plants like Anubias, Amazon swords, plants of that nature. I think they would work much better for, or much better with. Oh, Fish Care says, I would like you to do an unpacking video that contains fish, plants, and any other things. Okay. I definitely will. I get shipments every week from my supplier for plants, so I can definitely do an unpacking video then. I guess I could do that. Yeah. And then actually another company, Ista Aquariums out of Taiwan, is sending me their CO2 system to review on my channel. So I'll do an unpacking of that product as well for you. Since you like to see those videos, no problem. I only do things you guys want to see, as I said before. If you want to see an unpacking video, I'll do it. If you want to watch it, I'll do it. I only want to please you guys. By the way, if you guys prefer Twitter, if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is @JacobsAquarium, if you guys prefer Twitter. I try to post on there a lot, as I do with my Facebook page, so you can follow me on there if you prefer Twitter. Jacob, do you export your plants to the UK? I could definitely do that, but it would be extremely expensive. 1 day international shipping is very, very pricey. UPS and FedEx, I think, charges upwards of $200 to $300 for a 1 day international shipping. So, to make it worth it, you would have to buy a lot of plants. A lot of plants. And even still, I don't think I could guarantee live arrival because you are taking a pretty big risk on your part ordering plants so far away, because during the time in transit, the plants can be in a multitude of temperatures, and anything can happen because, of course, they're going to be on a plane. They could be on a ship, being shipped in a ship or in a container ship. It's just hard to say. So, to make it worth it, you have to buy a lot of plants because shipping is very expensive. And also, I cannot guarantee live arrival. So if you do get any dead plants, you just have to deal with it. But I could definitely do that. It's just a matter of cost. So that's the only problem with shipping plants internationally. I'd love to do it. It's costly and it's risky. And then also there are some species restrictions in different countries. Like you can't have certain species of plants in certain countries because they are considered invasive species. So you have to abide by those rules, and it's hard to figure out exactly what plants are considered invasive and what plants aren't. So that's another thing to consider. You have a golden algae eater? Oh, that's cool. I've never seen a golden algae eater before. Interesting. Man, I can't wait till I get my new computer and I can start having guests on the show. It's gonna be a really fun show when John joins me from KGT Tropicals. When I revamp this whole live stream, it's gonna be a fun show. Anakin has brought up a very good point. Anakin, you are a great YouTuber. You brought up a really great point. He says, will your product review be 100% honest? I want your true opinion, especially if their products from China. Regulator is not something to cheap out on. Here's the thing, okay? Whenever a company sends me a product to review, obviously they're doing it because they want some type of exposure for their product because they know that I have a following here on YouTube. And that's mainly what they're most concerned about is the exposure. They're not too concerned about me doing the review, but I always make sure to tell them that no matter what, I'm going to be honest in my review. If there is a defect, something that doesn't work right with the product, something that I think should be changed, something that I think shouldn't be there or should be there, I will definitely say it. Because I feel that it's incredibly wrong to review a product and be biased about it just because the company sends it to me for free, and they expect me to basically just promote it. So no, I am 100% honest. I never review a product simply just to promote it. I always review it and give you my honest opinion because that is very important. I don't want you to watch my video and see me lie about a product and say it's so great, and then you go out and buy it and it's not. I definitely don't want that to happen. So of course, I'm always honest with you guys, especially with product reviews, and I always let the companies know that if there's something wrong with it or something I don't like, I will definitely talk about it. And if you don't like that, you don't want any. You're concerned about some negative comments being made about your product in my video, well, don't send it to me then. I'm perfectly fine with that. But thankfully, a majority of the companies have been understanding about my feelings about being honest with my product reviews, and they have understood, that it's very important to be honest, and I have an obligation to be honest with my viewers because, like I said, if I did lie and just promote the product to promote it, then you would go out and buy it and not like it, and then you'd come back and blame me. So absolutely, I am 100% honest with you guys. Fish is scared. Do you know what I think? I should be on the show. Well, you know what? I'm completely open to anybody being on the show with me. The only reason why I wanted to do some shows with some famous YouTubers is because they're well known, and a lot of people don't really get to see that side of them. Like during a live show, you get to interact with a person a lot differently than of course you would if you're watching their videos. So that's mainly why I wanted to do it with somebody screaming in my living room. That's why I wanted to do. I think my dad's watching boxing or something because he's like screaming and yelling at the TV. Anyways, so that's why I wanted to do the shows with the famous YouTubers, was because people want to interact with them live, and ask them questions and stuff. It's just a much different experience. But I'm absolutely open to having just anybody on the show, just a normal guest, that just wants to talk about aquariums. Absolutely, it's very interesting to see people's different point of views towards this hobby, and hear their story about how they got started in this hobby and things like that. Absolutely. So if you'd like to be on the show, just why don't we do this? Send me an email, Jacob. Send me an email to jacobsaquarium@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can set something up. It'll be a lot of fun. Well, that's true. You can call right now also and be on the show. People won't be able to see your video because I can't do that yet because my computer is a piece of crap. But yeah, you can be on the show right now and call in if you'd like. Sleight of hand. Jacob, why don't you set up a greenhouse like Dustin since you work with plants so much? Well, for one thing, I can't do that because I live in an apartment. Secondly, a greenhouse is not the best way to keep aquatic plants, and I'll tell you why. Keeping aquatic plants in aquariums in a greenhouse is the wrong way to go, first of all. The only reason you'd want to keep aquatic plants in a greenhouse is if you have an immersed setup. That's when a greenhouse really works well for aquatic plants. Having aquatic plants in a tank filled with water and then putting that in a greenhouse, that doesn't work. You're just going to have a lot of algae growth. The light's not going to be that well it's not going to penetrate that well through the greenhouse on the plants. And also, I mean, it's sunlight. It's not a certain Kelvin rating. I mean, I know sunlight is sunlight. It's good for plants, but it's not the best way to grow plants in a greenhouse in an aquarium. I mean, that's why most people that have aquatic plants are like the big retailers that sell aquatic plants. They have them in greenhouses, but they're all in immersed setups. They're not in aquariums. And even the big industrial commercial places that sell aquatic plants that do have some that are submerged, the ones that they sell are the ones that are growing immersed. So, for example, I've seen some greenhouses where some industrial greenhouses where they're growing Liquidia, for example, and they're growing it in a tub-like thing. And yes, a majority of the plant is submerged, but you'll notice that the only plants they're cutting and selling are the ones that are growing out of the water. For the simple fact of, when you have a glass box or a tub filled with water in a greenhouse that has sunlight pointing at it pretty much all day, there's going to be a lot of algae, and there's going to be a lot of snails and things going on in there. So, and you don't want to sell that to your customers. You don't want to sell plants with algae spores on them to your customers. So the ones that are grown immersed are more of a pure plant, I guess you could say, and much better quality. So I wouldn't set up a system like you said, like Dustin has, just because I don't believe in it. I don't think it's the right way to go. Storing aquatic plants in aquariums in a greenhouse, I think it's better to, if you're going to do that, to have an immersed setup rather than have them in aquariums. As for me, I mean, I am going to be setting up some more aquariums, but they're going to be planted tanks. They're going to have substrate in them. They're going to be under control as far as algae and things like that. And I'm not going to rely on sunlight. That's just going to grow algae. I'm going to rely on strictly lights that are made for planted aquariums and that are a certain Kelvin rating, 6700K or 65, which are pretty much the best. it's much better to do it that way. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. I've talked to so many people that work in the industry, you know, the commercial industry, with aquatic plants, and they don't recommend keeping plants like that in a greenhouse. A greenhouse for aquatic plants is strictly, you know, should be used for immersed aquatic plants and only that. So, have I ever owned a Malawi cichlid tank? I have. I had a 10-gallon tank, and I had a couple cichlids in there when I was a kid. In adulthood, though, I haven't. No, I've just stuck with planted tanks pretty much. So, I would keep cichlids in a planted tank, but unfortunately, they would just tear it apart. They don't work well with planted aquariums. Fish's care. Wow, I didn't think he would say that. Well, you know, we all have our different opinions in this hobby. I'm sure, you know, other YouTubers have their own opinions. That's great. But the facts are there. You know, it's very widely known that aquatic plants that are grown in greenhouses are exclusively grown immersed and not submerged in aquariums. So, you know, I'm simply going by facts. I'm not going by my own opinion on this one, but I say everybody has their own opinion because obviously, you know, Dustin has chosen to grow his plants that way, but you know, my opinion and the facts just simply say otherwise. So. And Nagan says, Planet Tanks extend the enjoyment of the hobby because it's never complete. There is always something to do. I would have grown tired of a hobby by now if it weren't for the plants. Absolutely. Absolutely. With the Planet Tank, there's so many things you got to do as far as maintenance. Trimming the plants especially is one of my favorite things to do. You know, there's just a lot more interaction, I think, rather than just a normal tank, you know, with gravel, a few decorations, and some fish. You know, a planted tank is just, I mean, it's alive. it's a little ecosystem in your home. It's just amazing. Cichlids are interactive. Yeah, they are. You're right. I mean, I have nothing against them. I would love to keep cichlids, but as I said before, I don't have the money for another aquarium right now, and I don't. You know, I don't have another tank or anything, so just a matter of having the money to set another one up. Faux show. I love water. I love water. Oh man, it's gonna be so crazy. That's pretty soon. This is gonna be the last time I'm gonna see my iPhone 5. Oop, can you guys see that? There we go. It's gonna be or my 5S. It's gonna be the last time I'm gonna see this phone. Isn't that crazy? Pretty soon, I'm gonna be holding the iPhone 6 Plus. I'm sure the box is gonna be huge too. By the way, we had a great run with this phone, but sadly, it's time to say goodbye. I'm gonna miss you, iPhone. I'm gonna miss you, 5S. Can SAEs go with discus? Yeah, I think they can. I've kept I've kept SAEs with discus before. They've been fine. But just like I said, keep in mind they're very active fish, so maybe they're not the best for your tank because you have sensitive plants, so keep that in mind. If you won the lottery and could set up your perfect aquarium, what would you choose? Oh my God. That's, well, first of all, here's what I would do if I won the lottery. Okay. every person that has been loyal to my channel, everybody that's always been in the chat room, you know, for you guys, for example, all of you guys that have watched my videos and everything, all the people that are positive, you know, that you know, have been so supportive of my channel, I would give them all something. I would either ship them a huge aquarium, you know, their dream aquarium or their dream setup. You know, I would ship it to them for free. I'd buy it for them. That would probably be the first thing I'd do, just because I could. I mean, if you won the lottery, you'd have millions of dollars. So I think I could definitely afford to do that. As for myself, my dream aquarium would ultimately be the biggest one that I could buy. If I could buy a 15,000 gallon aquarium, that's, you know, the length of a house, that's the size of a house, I would buy it. Realistically though, I'd have to say that my dream aquarium would have to be maybe like a 5,000 gallon tank, all LED lighting, you know, but a short tank. So it'll be really long, good light, so I can get good light penetration. I would buy all ADA products just because I could, even though I know there's other stuff out there that's cheaper. I would buy all ADA products. I would buy all the nutrients, to put at the bottom of the tank before you put the substrate in, and I'd fill that 5,000 gallon tank up with it. I would use aqua soil for the substrate. I would, you know, and then also something that I would do just because I could is I would only have a carpet of baby tears growing in that 5,000 gallon tank. That's it. Just a huge long carpet of door baby tears. That's it. And then I would continue to set up another 5,000 gallon tank and put another plant in there, and then so on and so forth, just because I could. And then I would put all LED lighting. I would have an industrial sized canister filter. And then I would have somehow, some way, I would get an Asian arowana, and I would have like 3 or 4 of them in there in a 5,000 gallon tank, and just grow them up. And they wouldn't be like the average Asian arowana. They would be the most expensive, like the chili red Asian arowana, or the 24 karat Asian arowana would be that one. Either 2 of those, it would be 4 or 5 of those in the tank. And then, gosh, going crazy right now thinking about all the stuff that I could buy. I mean, man, that would just be so awesome. That would be so awesome if I could do all that, and, you know, especially give you guys all the stuff that I just said. I mean, that would just be amazing. Money, 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 money. It's what it's all about, ladies and gents. Money, money, money. Trey Laner, you would have Takashi Amano make your aquascape? Why? Why wouldn't you do it yourself? I mean, even if I had the money, I wouldn't hire him to do it for me. I do it myself. I mean, yeah, he's a great aquascaper. He's a good artist, but I don't know. I wouldn't hire him to do a tank for me if I had the money. I do it myself. What plants would you keep with goldfish? Fake ones. Yeah, fake ones. I would keep Amazon swords and Anubias because they're pretty big, and the goldfish tend to leave the big plants alone, and the big plants are pretty hardy, so they can withstand you know, all the abuse that goldfish can throw at them. So Amazon swords, Anubias, not Laguidia. No, not that plant. Off the top of my head, that's all I can really think about. Amazon swords and Anubias would work well with goldfish. Bum, 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 bum. Oh my gosh. What do you think of Takashi Amano's work in comparison to James Finley from the Green Machine? They both have awesome scapes. Well, Takashi Amano, he has this certain perspective when it comes to him aquascaping a tank. And I think it's that perspective that really gives him the ability to make these scapes that are so intricate, so much more intricate than James Finley. I think James Finley's scapes are nice. They look amazing, But as far as their intricacy, I think Takashi Amano has one up on him. Takashi Amano has done some amazing things with branch driftwood, different species of plants, and especially, when he uses decorative sand and then also aqua soil, when he creates like these little pathways in an aquarium. I mean, he's done just some incredible things. Because he's an artist, he's a photographer. I mean, I'm a photographer myself. I know the perspective that a photographer has, and like I said, it's that perspective that gives the artist the ability to create some really amazing scapes. So I think Takashi Amano, is pretty much I think he's better, but nonetheless, both of them, have incredible skills. Both of them create amazing aquascapes. It's just, as far as their intricacy, I think Takashi Amano has one up. I think James Finley's scapes are nice, but they're simple, and they're simple, but they still look amazing. But they're not as intricate as Takashi Amano's scapes. Joshua Gohing, you want to see my bird? Well, she's in her cage right now, and I don't want to get her out because she's always afraid of all the equipment I have here. So she always tries to fly away. So it'd be a really be a really hectic thing. Fish's care. They say money can't bring you happiness. Well, look at all the things you're saying. Well, they say that money can't bring you happiness because, I mean, it makes sense because you could buy everything in the world. But I think what really makes people happy is human interaction. And if you don't have that, I mean, yeah, you'll never be happy. You can buy as many things as you want, have as much money as you want. But having somebody to laugh with, or having somebody to spend time with, or having a companion, without that, I mean, there's no way. There's no way you could be happy. So, God, that was deep. That was so deep. I got into my soul right now. That was such a deep convo. Yeah, I agree. What you're saying. The guy even has a shrimp named after him. Yeah, I think that's in my opinion that's kind of embarrassing to have a shrimp named after you. Because shrimps really aren't associated with the most masculine of people. I think I prefer to have a really large, large monstrous fish named after me. I think that'd be a little bit more manly. I think it's great he has a shrimp named after him, but I think it's a little I don't know, not as manly as it could be. Oh boy, we got 4 minutes left of the show. Ooh, 4 minutes left of the show. What are we going to talk about? We're down to the last 4 minutes, the most important, the most final of them all. What do we talk about? Fish Tank Army, the Jacob Shark. that would be cool. That would be cool. The Jacob Shark. That's funny. Fish's Care, Jacob, thank you for doing all these live webcasts, and also thank you so much for giving up your time and also knowledge. I would like to say thank you so much. I've learned so much from you. Well, thank you, Fish's Care. I really appreciate that, those kind words. That really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. How much did I spend on the tank behind me? Well, sleight of hand, you're gonna go. Okay, see you later, sleight of hand. Take care. Thanks for coming in the chat room. We'll see you next time. The tank behind me, let's see here. Well, the regulator for my CO2 system costs $150. The CO2 tank was 100, so we're up to 250. The tank itself was $1,000, sand canopy and the tank, so we're up to $1,250 now. The filter was $275, so $250. We're up to. Oh my God, is my math going to be correct on this one? $1,250, $275. So let's see here. So that would be $425. I think it's $425. So we're up to $1,425 now. The lighting was, I think the fixtures were $200 each, so that was $400. And now we're up to $1,825. My UV sterilizer was $100, so $19.25. My reactor was, that was cheap. It was like $40, so 40, 50, 60, so $19.65 so far. The substrate, I used a total of 8 bags of EcoComplete. I think that amounts to, almost $300. So we're at $2,265. I think that's about it. So I think I think it's a little over $2,000 is what I spent so far. I hope I did the math correctly. I'm not the best at math. So I think it's about over $2,000. So Josh Guerra, thank you, dude, for doing all this stuff just for your viewers. You are a cool man and keep making videos. Also, how old is Baby? Thank you so much, Josh. I really appreciate those kind words. Baby is, I got her in 2009, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And she was already sick. She was already about a year old when I got her, so I think she's 6 years old. 6 years old. Fish's Care, never give up, Jacob. Don't worry. I'll never give up. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna bring you down. Never gonna I'm gonna rickroll you guys. All right, everybody, it's 3:01. It is time to end the show. Thank you guys so much for watching my live stream. I really appreciate it. I love each and every one of you guys. You guys are just so amazing. You've done so much for my YouTube channel. And thank you for all your support, for everything. It really means a lot to me. Have fun with your tanks, everybody. And stay tuned because this early October. The show is going to be totally revamped. We're going to have a lot of guests on the show. The first one would most likely be John from KGT Tropicals. We'll probably have some other famous YouTubers on the show. Joey, the king of DIY, is going to join us again on a future show as well. It's just going to be a lot of fun. And we're also going to have multiple cameras, and we'll probably have some guests as well in the, well, I can't really call it my studio, but my room. We're going to have some multiple guests, some more microphones, so other people can join us here, live and in the same area, not through Skype. So it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of new things to come. And also something really cool. Okay. I'll be, when I do the camp out for the new iPhone 6, I'll be filming my entire experience as well as the launch, the initial launch of the iPhone when it comes out at the store. I'll be filming all that, and I'll be uploading that on my Bird channel. So that's youtube.com/thegreencheekconyer. Okay, that's the channel where all those videos are going to be at. Thank you guys so much. Look forward to all that stuff. I love you guys so much. Take care, everybody. Let's say bye to everybody that's saying bye. Macias, thank you. Fish Tank Army, bye. Josh Gohing, thank you so much. Matthew Coughing, thank you. See you next time. Fishes Care, thank you. 1171 Marla, thank you. Did I ever say Matthew Coughing? Yes, I did. Okay. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Take care, and I will see you next time. Okay. I love you guys. Bye.